joining us. We will go to your phone calls because he wants to talk to you. Jeremy, Leaf, Ronnie, Julio, Spencer, Adriana, all of you. We're going to get to you. Is Stewart Rhodes, formerly worked with Ron Paul. He also won the big prestigious award. Was it at Yale or was it Princeton for his paper on the Constitution, and the founder of Oath Keepers. He joins us, Stewart Rhodes, to give us his take on this. He has an article that's up at Infowars.com that basically echoes what Larry Pratt is saying, that the establishment has the blood on their hands, and he joins us now to break this down. You know, Stewart, they are announcing that they're going to use executive power outside of law to come after our guns. And, you know, I've been concerned about the buildup ahead of Obama's reelection to come after our guns, Stewart.
Well, yeah, and he's playing with fire. He might go down in history as the president who causes the next or final American Civil War, because there are millions of Americans who simply will not disarm. Doesn't make a difference if he does it by executive order. He manages to get all the panty-waist Republicans to go along with the new assault weapons ban. Whatever he does, there are millions of us, including myself and everyone I know, who are not going to disarm. Our arms are a birthright. They are the birthright of our children. It's what we're meant to do, is be an armed population. And what they're attempting to do is to flip the Founders Republic on its head and destroy liberty in America. And it's just not going to work.
And you notice now they talk about the gun culture, because I've said this from research. The gun culture, liberals are buying guns, women are getting into hunting. It's in all these liberal magazines. They're suddenly getting guns. People are beginning to realize how much power they've got. They're going out and shooting. We're converting them. We're actually winning. So they have this staged election with two frauds, certify one of them, and tell us there's a mandate for collectivism. They are the ones that are weak. And all of this push for big government is actually their desperation.
Yeah, I think it might be, but here's the problem: is that's what worked in Australia. That's what worked in other countries. They had a mass shooting, and they used that as their weapon to finally disarm the people. I don't think it'll work here. In this sense, at least alone, is that there will be a large percentage of the population who will not disarm, and it'll lead to conflict. And so if their goal is peace, supposedly, and less killing, the way to not do it is to try to disarm us, because that'll lead to a civil war. But your big point is valid, that people are realizing that you are responsible for your own safety, that no police officer is ever going to be there when you're attacked. It's just the way it is. I used to teach rape prevention when I was in college. I taught at several different universities, and that's what I told the students the very first day.
And you've written for SWAT magazine. Go ahead.
Right, and it's like you are responsible for yourself. It's just common sense that when you're attacked in a dark parking lot or in a classroom or anywhere else, there's not going to be a police officer there. You are responsible, but they sweep that under the rug, and they don't want you to talk about that as a solution, the obvious thing. What they want to do, what they're really doing is creating this. It's like a petri dish. Let's disarm people. Let's use force of law to make sure that there's a place where a gunman can go and be assured of defenseless
Well, that was my next point. I've seen these comments about the NRA heads saying, let's go attack the NRA headquarters. These are real tweets and real Facebooks. No one's going to attack that because it's full of guns. Don't these idiots get it? They attack you because they know you're a mark. They don't go after the big, powerful armed person.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to do that. But here's the thing: is most of the people who are like Bloomberg and Obama and Holder, they understand that this is a propaganda campaign. They know that the real solution is to arm the people. If not, then I invite Obama to lead the way. He should have all his Secret Service put their guns away, and no more guns in the White House. Make the White House a gun-free zone. If that works so well, then why doesn't he do it and lead by example?
Hey, that's a great point, because guns are so bad. Let's not have all these men, like Costas has said, no one between 20 and 30 should own guns. Most of those guys out there with guns protecting the White House are between 20 and 30. Let's disarm the whole military then. If men, did you see Costas double down on NBC and say men can't be trusted to own guns, 20 to 30?
Yeah, right, I did.
I mean, what are they talking about?
What's he talking about? He's talking about that young men have testosterone and are more violent prone, which is true. But the great majority of people are law-abiding. look at the military. One or two freak out and try to kill their fellow soldiers. The great majority of them are responsible with arms. And that's true of the population at large.
And now they're trying to say the whole military can't own guns because a few people go haywire. It's the same collectivist model. Somebody does something bad, so everybody loses their rights.
Well, not the government, though. That's the point, is they'll never say we must disarm all of the people, including the police and military. If you are an anointed, government-approved armed guardian, then you're good to go. In fact, they want you to be hyper-violent and hyper-armed if you're part of the government. It's only the private individual citizen who cannot be trusted. That's what they're doing, is they're flipping the founder's design on its head, where the government was not trusted, and it was the people who were supposed to be armed and responsible for their own security. They're taking that away and saying, no, only the government can be trusted. And so that's why Obama will never have the White House be a gun-free zone. He should lead by example.
That's right. When we come back, I want to get your take on what we do about the schools, because, sure, you got a better chance of dying in the shower, better chance of dying in a car wreck, better chance of whatever it is. Guns are way down the line. But people are still scared because the media runs this psyop. What is the answer? I say arm the people in the schools. Arm the teachers right now. We'll be right back with Stewart Rhodes and your phone calls. Stay with us. You know, what's so frustrating about this is the United States now leads the world per capita in suicide. Communist China is number 2. And we're on a bunch of Prozac-type drugs that make you commit suicide. The troops lead the world in suicide. And I mean by a long way they lead. There's no discussion about that. It's all, oh my gosh, the guns, the epidemic, the guns. Pull up the statistics. Last 20 years, shootings are flat. 88 people died in mass shootings. More than half of those were gang-related. Less than 40 died in real mall or school shootings. And that is terrible if it's your little kindergartner shot by some lunatic. But the system preying on it, jumping on it, pushing it. Stewart, I want to go to phone calls here with you, but I agree they're playing with fire. I saw Obama 2 weeks ago sign that order and not let Congress see it, but the UN bragged they were able to see it, handing over control of the internet to a great extent to the UN. The president now can't get a law passed, so he signs an order and then tells Congress they can't see it. He says NATO runs our military along with the UN. That was this year, 3 hearings, as you know. Shutting down power plants without law. And he said he may use executive power. Bloomberg now said on Meet the Press today, that's the plan. Kurt Nimmo wrote an article about it at Infowars.com. I mean, listen, people ask me, why do you like guns so much? They're the canary in the coal mine, folks. My guns are in gun cases. I hardly even use them. Wish I had more time. The point is, when they take your guns, then they can do whatever they want to you. Can you, as a constitutional lawyer, explain that to people, why we're so into guns, Stewart?
Well, the bottom line is that the founders understood that in order to remain free, the people first have to take personal responsibility for their own security. There's no such thing as a free lunch. We see this Arkansas town. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Alex, where the police chief and the mayor are now going to have armed SWAT team patrols and stop every single citizen, no matter what they're doing, and demand their ID and demand to know where they're going in the name of fighting crime. This is, I think it's Paragat, Arkansas.
No, they declared martial law 2 years ago, yeah.
Well, this is just today I saw an article about that.
Oh, well, it's another town. Yeah, but there is a town in Arkansas that does that.
And the point is that there's 2 different versions of America we have to choose from. One is the free America with free people who take personal responsibility for their own security, which is your natural law obligation and your natural law right. You can do that and take responsibility, or you can have the other one, where you have this false offer of security where a hyper-militarized state watches over you like a bunch of sheep but then it's also going to prey upon you.
I was about to say, statistically, that's always pure destruction. Listen, I'm 38. You're pretty young yourself, I'm sure. I still feel like I can really take care of myself, even though I'm not like I was when I was 18. Now, though, I think about being old. Isn't it discriminatory in countries where they take the guns? Old people can't protect themselves from young people. I actually value the Second Amendment more now because as I get older, you know, maybe when I was 18, 3 guys starting to fight with me was a good challenge to get going, you know, my good old boy guts going. Now, you know, I have more trepidation. Isn't it discrimination against old people to take their guns?
Well, sure, and also against the frail and the handicapped, and against women. Look at England. In England, it's numbers in the streets that rule. It's the size, the young and the strong over small people, over the elderly, over females. Women are more likely to be raped by a large, strong male. She's not armed. Just the way it is. It's a fact. That's why cops carry guns. That's why the military carries guns. That's why Bloomberg has armed guards around him. That's why Obama has armed guards around him.
We've interviewed him. He has about 15 guys with him.
Yeah, they work. And they know that. But they don't want you to have them. And so this is only an excuse to strip you of your rights. But the big picture is the Second Amendment is not only is it not about, you know, duck hunting or deer hunting, it's also not even just about your right to bear arms to defend yourself. It's about you, the people, having the military force to be the military security in your country. We're supposed to be the militia. We're supposed to be capable of repelling invasions, suppressing insurrections, and executing the laws.
We're supposed to be an armed, hardcore, serious, focused people, not a bunch of domesticated jellyfish. Bottom line, the system is getting itself absolutely ramped up to come after the guns. They've now blown the bugle. Stewart Rhodes, founder of Oath Keepers, oathkeepers.org. Before we go to calls, what do we do then, your view, to counter this?
I think go on the offensive. Point out the obvious, that the teachers should be allowed to and able to defend the students in their care. They should be allowed to bear arms. And we trust them with the kids.
Can you imagine these women that went and shielded the children from bullets, what they would have done if they had a gun?
Yeah, imagine if I'd have had them in a class and taught them how to use a gun and taught them about combat mindset and going on the aggression and going on the attack. They would have killed the guy. They'd have put a bullet in his brain and he'd have been shut down instantly. So that's the answer.
Teach good people how to go on the attack, not make us a bunch of sheep.
Exactly. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call on all the Oath Keepers out there who are firearms instructors or martial arts instructors and call on them to offer free training to any teacher that wants it. And I volunteered myself to do the same thing here in Montana. We'll teach them. I don't give a dang about the law. Teach them how to do it and encourage them to violate the dang law.
Well, how many school shootings have there been where a principal or an off-duty cop's visiting their kid? We see it in the back of the paper all the time, and they stop the shooting.
Well, one principal had to run to his car a quarter of a mile away and get his gun and run back and stop the shooting. So they should. I mean, these laws are killing people, so they should disobey them. They should carry concealed, ignore the dang law. I mean, obviously they take a risk by doing so, but it's so important that they be able to take care of the children under their care.
Especially now with the media hyping it. Let's go to a caller in Newtown, Connecticut. John, you're on the air with Stewart Rhodes. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Obama might be coming down the road now, so if you hear some sirens in the background. I live 8 miles from Newtown, so I stopped down here tonight.
No, I actually hear him. Is he there to grandstand and bloodsuck off this?
Yeah, he is due to come in any minute now. This might be him. Bear with me 1 minute. Sorry. I'm standing on Washington Avenue right across from the main memorial, and strangely there are a few people crying here. There's people with their iPads taking photos and showing little emotion.
Oh, yeah, they're using it as a spectacle, a lot of them. Yeah, Obama to speak at prayer vigil in Connecticut. He is really going to milk this, folks. He's coming for the guns. Go ahead, sir.
I haven't seen any anti-gun signs or anything, except for, CNN on every corner. And,
I wonder if he'll go to these countries where they kill whole families to bomb one person. I wonder if he'll go to vigils there and cry.
Yeah. Anyway, I was wondering why people haven't been talking about that second shooter.
Well, look. They SWAT teamed one house. They arrested a second shooter. This could be staged because they'll use a mentally ill person like this as a cutout. We know they've staged stuff in the past. Stewart, what about this being a staged event?
Well, I mean, it's entirely possible. But as you said earlier, when you have millions of Americans on psychiatric drugs, you have a recipe for this kind of disaster.
Yeah, there's 65 million on them.
And then when you set children, it's like setting out bait for coyotes or wolves. You set out, baby rabbits to lure in coyotes. So you set out children in a disarmed area. And if the guy wants to make an impact and get on the news, he's going to go to a school. He's going to go to a university. He's going to go to some place where he knows he'll have a chance to kill
And how pathetic in this narcissistic thing that you'd kill a bunch of kids so your name went out when you committed suicide.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But, we have to realize that there is a small percentage of the population out there. It's growing, like you said, because of all the drugs, who are going to snap and go do these things. But the answer is let's look at Israel. They arm the teachers.
I agree. Our tax money pays for M16s in an instant access pistol safe locker in every office. M16s in the schools now. M16s in the schools now.
While we fight to retain our liberty, while we fight to expose globalism, we have to realize we're talking about a very powerful combination of power.
Renowned author and expert Joel Skousen breaks down the globalist plan to shut down America and stage a new world war.
In one day, America will go from day to night. And if you haven't prepared in advance, there's not enough time to prepare in 24 hours, even if you saw it that early.
Coming to the InfoWar in November is our new documentary film presentation.
Strategic relocation is a systematic way to think strategically in the future about how do I safeguard.
Joel Skousen, Strategic Relocation.
The freeways are going to be crowded, they're going to run out of gasoline, they're going to run out of food, and then they're going to start to go north and south of those freeways.
Joel Skousen is renowned as one of the world's foremost experts in strategic relocation and the securing of your home.
We talk about natural disasters, the health environment, we talk about pollution, the water quality. My personal experience about being in every one of these states.
Government is digging in for the organized, incremental collapse of society and world war.
The U.S. isn't building huge underground bases and bunkers because of some terrorist threat. They know that a massive nuclear attack is coming. They want that attack to come. Most people won't even be ready and won't be able to get out of town when any of these nuclear weapons fall, because there'll be absolute panic.
There is no preparedness without strategy.
What I tell people is that you do have time. Prepare wisely in advance.
This Christmas, give the gift of preparedness. Strategic Relocation, the film, with Joel Skousen and Alex Jones. Yeah, Obama, like a vampire, is going to go exploit these dead kids, and he's going to be speaking here in about an hour. And they're going to put it on television. He's going to call for restricting our guns off 20 dead kids. How about you restrict all the drugs you've put 60+ million Americans on that the insert says causes psychotic violence? Oh, no, don't restrict Big Pharma. Restrict me individually, because there's a bunch of deranged people out there, and statistically I got a better chance again falling in my shower. Doesn't matter though, they're going to sit there and grandstand. It's wrong that you don't want to turn your guns in. I'm President Obama. Let's go to a bunch of calls with Stewart Rhodes. Quick comment or question. Jeremy in Iowa, you're on the air.
Hey Allison, this is Jeremy. I want to see how this works. I want to talk about one of the things I've seen that we actually had that wasn't really talked about. First of all, in your video, you can't share it on your iPod or iPhone. It won't let you share that. It's blocked out the sharing feature of that video. But
you're talking about my Obama caught fake crying? Yeah. No. The internet censors us in all different ways. Go ahead.
But China had stabbing of 22 individuals, kids in an elementary school yesterday as well. Those stabbings.
Yeah, and if you notice that article, both the video you're talking about they're trying to block is up at drugsreport.com on the right-hand side. It's near the bottom now. But the other article's there as well. They've had an epidemic of stabbings in China and Japan, where in some cases I saw where last year they killed 14 kids in Japan or something. Yeah, they're using knives. Again, I want to ask Stewart Rhodes. Thanks for the call. Stewart, what is it about these psychos that they go after kids, and where they can't get guns, they use knives? I mean, what type of demon wants to hurt little kids?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. But here's the problem. Like I said, it's like putting out bait. I know it sounds kind of crude, but it's
no,
true.
Scum goes after the most innocent in a victim disarmament zone.
Yeah, and they want to, for some reason, they want to kill kids. It's like a sacrifice to Moloch. It's like a sacrifice of children. It is sick. But the point is that where they can't get guns, they will use blades. Like in China or Japan, a much more blade-oriented culture because they don't have guns, they'll still do it. You get a crazy guy with a samurai sword, he'll still kill lots of kids. And the way to stop him is to shut him off by killing him. You got to stop him right then and right there.
I saw a report where a Palestinian woman with a butcher knife killed more than 10 Israelis. What are you going to do, ban all knives?
Like they do in England, yeah. So they'll still get it. If someone wants a sword or wants a machete or wants a gun, they'll get them. If they could smuggle drugs into the country, but despite them being illegal, they could smuggle anything in. They're going to get them. So you're not going to stop it except by arming the teachers and allowing them to defend the kids.
And look at Arizona, look at Texas, look at every state that's loosened gun laws. What happens, Stewart? Crime rates go down.
Sure. If you're able to defend yourself, you're able to, first of all, you'll dissuade those who are not suicidal. But even for the ones who are suicidal, you'll stop them. You can stab them to death or shoot them to death and stop them.
It's very simple. Leaf in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, I was calling in to make a point about the psychiatric drugging. I'm glad to see that you're covering it as much as you are. But, I don't own a gun, and I'm not even vaguely concerned about other people owning guns. It's just the number of people that are drugged out, and they're plugged into the matrix, and they're walking around in a dream world.
Look, I had two girlfriends that were on serotonin-type drugs, and let me tell you, these weren't people. That's why they weren't girlfriends long. I mean, they were zombies. And this stuff is, listen, they got 60+ million people on this stuff now, brother. The insert says it can make you go haywire and kill people. Why are we the #1 country for suicide now? Stewart Rhodes, caller, what's your comment on that?
Well, it's engineered, it's purposeful, and we've got the school screening programs going in where they're going to start putting more and more little kids on these drugs.
New freedom, yeah.
My kids aren't going to go to public school. I'm going to make the money to send them to private school.
Well, I'd tell you this, brother. I understand not wanting to own a gun, but I'm telling you, your car, you could kill people with your car. I wouldn't be so scared of guns. I think you should go out and take a gun safety course. I think you should buy a firearm. The way to beat these people, and they are panicking, they admit we're winning, is that you need to go out, buy a gun, learn how to use it. They have instant access pistol safes that are either biometric or have a code, and you can have guns in total safety. I'm telling you, you need guns.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, I've got my Answer to 1984 1776 T-shirt, and I just want to tell you, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Leaf. And listen, it is like proselytizing. If I can just get people armed, our culture is going to win. Guns are the only thing we've got that's actually succeeding now. It's the one thing people get that is a precious right. First Amendment's under attack, too. I defend that. Stewart, your comments on that.
No, it's true. It's sad to say, like I said yesterday in the article that I wrote, is that, so many conservatives have been so brainwashed by the neocons that the only thing they still care about is a Second Amendment. And so if this is what it takes to wake them up, then so be it. Throw us in that briar patch. I'd rather get it over with.
But it was the same thing in Texas. The Mexican government was abusing Mexican citizens, my family who came down here. No, they would put up with any abuse but guns being taken. Same thing in 1776. I think, Stewart, that's all people get.
Well, to be fair to the founders, they understood everything else. They protested against writs of assistance. They protested
the general population refused to turn the guns in.
Right, because they could feel it themselves personally. A gun law, a gun ban, like the assault weapons ban, impacts you and every American personally. It affects what you can and cannot own. You don't have to wait for you to be black bagged in the middle of the night to feel the effects. That's the difference. It's sad, but true. They can't learn from history. They have to feel the effects themselves. And so I say, bring it on, Obama. Go ahead and go for it. Let's get this over with. It's kind of like sticking your finger down your throat so you can throw up and feel better. Let's just get it done.
Man, I hope you're wrong. But they're going for it, so whatever.
Well, the Republicans go along with every other violation of the Bill of Rights. They want predator drones over our skies. They want the president to be able to kill us.
NSA spying, open borders, government-run healthcare, premiums doubling. Look at the idiot Obama supporters, Stewart, that they've now announced that the average premium is going to double and they're going to make people buy healthcare. These idiots thought they'd get something for free.
And these are the same people who also turn a blind eye, as you said, to what he's been doing with predator drones all over the world. All the kids he's been killing, they don't care because he's their guy. Just like the Republicans didn't care because Bush was their guy. It's disgusting. And so the only salvation for this country are the people who care about the Constitution and are consistent in their defense of human rights. And that includes your right to defend yourself.
And by the way, I had Larry Grafwall, the famous Army guy, the FBI person that brought down the Weatherman. He said on air, I'm not turning my guns in, that's it. I mean, I hope the system knows this is a line in the sand. It's almost ancestral, it's spiritual. They want a civil war, they're going to get it. I mean, I hope they understand.
And it might be that they intend to do that. It could be that they have in the back of their heads that they think they've got the deck stacked in their favor and they're going to go for it. But in either case, they're in for a fight. And I do not think Americans are going to put up with another assault weapons ban, for example. There will be
no, Stuart. They're saying they're going to physically confiscate them with an executive order. I mean, it is madness, folks. All hell will break loose for new listeners if they try this. Let's go to Julio in Illinois. Julio, real fast.
What would drive the son whose father was the vice president and tax director of General Electric Energy Financial Services? The Connecticut shooter, his dad was the VP.
He grew up in a multi-million-dollar-a-year family, and I tell you, look, I'm not going to go there, but it looks suspicious. I'd rather debate it on the facts that I can prove, but look, I smell something when it's rotten, brother.
And I agree with Stewart. We need to be more offensive. We have to point out that a lot of these shootings, mass shootings as of late, have been with people on these type of drugs. You know why the media is not going to cover that issue? Because a lot of their money, a lot of their sponsors are Big Pharma. Government's not going to touch this because Big Pharma lobbies them.
I looked it up. I looked it up. 10 years ago, suicide was not even in the top 10 causes of death. It's #1. That's a pretty big elephant in the room, huh, Stuart?
Absolutely, but no one wants to talk about it, like you said. It's because they don't want to talk about self-defense. They don't want to talk about the obvious solution of letting the teachers defend the children, just like Obama's defended by the Secret Service. Why does he get protection?
Hey, they could even have teachers that volunteer to go get the training, get certified, even get deputized by the sheriff. And they could have a gun locker. Boom, you're dead. They have the gun. Let's do it now. Let's arm the teachers now.
That's a good point. Sheriff should do that. They should offer to deputize the teachers and ignore the federal law. We need to nullify against these ridiculous...
That's right. There's a federal law, as you wrote, saying you can't have guns in that school. Well, how are you going to protect yourself from Mr. Fruit Loop?
You can't. Unless you want to do it empty-handed, you're empty-handed.
Stuart, I want to invite you back this week. I'm going to set you up right now. Weekday show, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. It's on XM, a couple channels on XM, Infowars.com. Great job, Stuart. Sorry the other callers. Call me back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central. We'll be covering it all. Larry Pratt's coming on, Gunners of America. We're going to defend the Republic, the First Amendment, the Second, the 10th, the 4th, the 5th, all of it. We're Americans, and we want our freedom now. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.